Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. Welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today we are going to be swatching my Multichrome eyeshadow palette featuring Clionadh, Devinah, Terramoons, Touch of Glam, and JD Glow. So let's get to it. Welcome to everybody watching today's video. Thank you so very much for being here today. Yes, today we are swatching all of this goodness. These are all of my indie multichromes, and I thought, I just really like the way this looks, and I don't really have any sort of multichromes that I'm planning to buy anytime soon. So this is sort of where the collection stands right now. It nicely fits into one palette, and I figured I could show it to you. In case you don't know what this channel is all about, welcome. My name is Maaike. I live in the Netherlands. I love chatting about eyeshadow palettes. I love reviewing Essence and Catrice products for you and getting the use out of my makeup. And in that vein, I have to mention these because this year my mission is to get more use out of my singles collection. So once a month I'm doing a custom eyeshadow palette. This month I'm using mainly cream singles, but in a way I just felt like my singles were heavily neglected in my collection. And I'm sort of doing a series of swatching out a lot of my single palettes to keep me accountable and to also show you what's in my collection, of course. So I have this Z-Style palette filled up with Clionadh, Touch of Glam, Devinah, Terramoons, and some JD Glow. So I thought it could be fun to show you all of that. Showing you close-ups, doing all the swatches, and hopefully we can just have a big old mooch when it comes to eyeshadow. So this is the first shade I want to show you. I thought we could start things off with JD Glow and work our way from right to left through this palette. So we're going to end with the Clionadh things. This is their shade Sin, and this is one of their Galaxy shadows. Am I not? Yeah, I'm not mistaken there. It's a Galaxy shadow. I had another one of these, but I felt in the end it was a bit too gritty for my liking. So I ended up putting it in a little sachet that I can still use it, but I felt I didn't need to keep it in this palette. So let me give this a swatch for you. That is what Sin looks like. And this shadow definitely instigated my entire JD Glow order. I haven't ordered from them since, but this is the shade Unexpected, also one of their Galaxy shadows. And this was definitely something that Hannah Louise Poston influenced me to buy. She kept raving about the shade. I think hers has pan. And I like this, but since my single shadows are so heavily neglected, I just feel that this is another one where I'm like, I may just have to, use it at some point, put it in one of my custom singles for sure. So this is what Unexpected looks like, and I don't think it shows the full flip in my camera. That's going to be an issue with a lot of these shades, but it looks very taupe in the viewfinder, so I hope it catches the pinky purpliness that this also has. This is like a taupey neutral base with a silver, brown, blue, and pink lavender flash. It's really interesting, super grungy, and very wet looking on the eyes as well, which I love. Now the reason why I wanted to get those JD Glow shadows out of the way so I can show you my Terramoon shades in one go. So these 6 shades are Terramoons. These 2 are just incredibly intense metallics. They're not necessarily multichromes, but I didn't want to break up the Terramoon stuff, so that's why I was like, I'll put them in here. This is Darkside. This is Carbon. Isn't this just the most gorgeous taupey silver you've ever seen? It's got a darker base, so it's not too stark of a silver, depending on how the light hits it. It's got a really nice grungy base. This is the Cosmos. Look at that swatch. Oh, it's such a vibrant, interesting shade. It looks If I hold my hand like this, to me, the way I look at it, it looks like a blue-green turquoisey shade, whereas for you it looks like a gold. And then it just has this really interesting flip. I really enjoy this shade. I haven't put these on my eyes yet though, so I don't know how they're gonna work. But with shades like this, I feel you always need to apply them with the finger to get the intensity that you want. So yeah, I can't wait to put this on my eyes. This is Orion's belt. And this doesn't have as strong of a flip, but it is like a really cool high shine metallic with a bit of a more greeny teal sort of situation going on. This is Moontide. And this again, it looks like a boring like blue shade in the pan, but then it has purple and gold, and it's really, really pretty. It definitely has, again, a little bit of depth in the base, and then just this really nice, vibrant sort of flash. I'm really enjoying that too in this one. This is the shade Mood Ring, and this was definitely influenced by Betty Bean. She was raving about this shade. I saw it on her channel, and I was like, I need that in my life. And this is indeed that Mood Ring kind of shade, if you ever had one of those as a kid in the 90s. I certainly did. It doesn't really show up on camera, maybe like this a little bit, but it has a very strong blue base, and then a bright blue and a green flip. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then we're going to be swatching these four here. These are by Touch of Glam, and I believe they are all part of their pastel multichromes, and I have Lucid Lavender. And I actually want to take the Cosmos and swatch Lucid Lavender next to it, because I feel they may be similar but not quite the same. But maybe if you were looking to buy into one of these brands and not both, then you know at least what the difference is. But first we're starting off with Jungle Mist, which looks like this. It looks like a very boring shade in the pan, but it's really pretty on. And this is more of a lighter multichrome, you could say. So very often when multichromes first became a thing, like when we get to these Clionadh ones, you'll see that these like jewel tones that have a very dark black base work really, really well. But I also like these lighter, more vibrant things. I don't think the camera is really picking up on how pretty this is. I'm trying to like turn my hand in every which way I can. Looks very silvery on screen. In real life, it's like blue, purple, lavender, pink. It's got a lot of different shifts. And this was a bit of an unexpected find. This is Mint Mojito, and this is like a greeny one. Again, it looks very similar to Jungle Mist, just of silver, but it has a very pretty green undertone. This does show up a lot better. It looks a bit golden tone, perhaps, not as silvery as Jungle Mist. But this has a really nice, like, vibrant green to mint sort of flippy shade. And then that silvery, light, golden tone base. Like, this in the inner corner is just going to amp up any look. And it's great for, like, halo eyes and just adding a bit more oomph to a look without going full-on multichrome. Another surprise in my order was Watermelon Sorbet. This looks like a boring peachy shade, but it's got a green flip. And I thought that was very interesting. So again, sort of like peachy tone, but then in real life it definitely has a very strong green tone to it. I hope the camera picks up on it. It's really, really stunning. It's like, I don't love golds, but I love golds with a green undertone, and I sort of get that vibe from this. And then the star of the show, I think their most sold shade with Touch of Glam is this. This is Lucid Lavender. And as I mentioned, I want to swatch the Cosmos from Terramoons next to it. This is a very iridescent pastel multichrome, which looks like a dirty lilac in the pan, but then it's got green, it's got blue, it's got loads of different flips. This is Lucid Lavender. And I think that Lucid Lavender may actually be like a bit more of a more toned down version of this. So let me see. Oh, they're very different. Maybe not on camera, but in real life, the Cosmos is definitely more green and blue, where Lucid Lavender is more like gold and peach and pink and lavender. Like, Lucid Lavender has like 5 or 6 different shifts in it, and it's really, really stunning. I put it in one of my single custom palettes. in March, and it was stunning, and it was a very versatile shade I found, because it can look very stunning in the inner corner, all over the lid, topped over other things, whereas the Cosmos has, I'm not sure if you can see, but it has a much stronger base to it. So it's definitely something you need to wear more on its own, whereas this, because it has such a transparent base, it can just be topped over everything. And then we have some Devinah shades, and I'm gonna have to be very honest here. The Devinah shades in my Multichrome collection aren't my favorite. I bought these when I first bought from the brand, and I like Devinah, but I don't love all of their shades. There may be one or two like more Multichrome leaning shades in what I like to dub my fun shimmer palette, but that's definitely going to get a swatch in one of these future videos for sure, so you'll see that. I have a few other shades from Devinah, but these are the ones that are more like duochrome. I believe some are from their butterfly collection and some from their actual Multichrome collection that they did. So some of these aren't super multi-chromy, but I feel that some of the other shades I just showed you are much better in terms of shifts and showing up than these Devinah ones. This is Paralucia. This is a like reddish brown base, and then it's got a green and gold kind of flip. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce this, but Menelaus. I believe it's a type of butterfly. Not entirely sure anymore. And this is like a purple, blue, kind of bruisey shade. This is quite standard in multi-chromes, which is why with the Devinah ones, I feel the shades aren't that exciting. Like they're like very foreseeable shifts. This is Skyla. And this is a bit warmer toned. It's got that reddish, like cranberry undertone, and then a bluish, purpley kind of flip with a bit of orange, depending on how the light hits it. This is Pavonine. And this is more like a pinkish brown with a purple flip. Like I said, within these three Devinah shades, I really feel I didn't need all of them, but that's the pain with buying multi-chromes online. It's so difficult to be able to see this, to see all the flips and really know what you're buying, because I feel that the swatches usually make it look a lot prettier than it actually is in real life. This is Messier, or should I say Messier? I'm not sure. And this is again one of those like purpley shades with a bit of brown, like an oil slick almost. It's like the more purpley toned version of Unexpected, really, because it has that brown. In real life, it has a bit more of a purpley blue, whereas in the viewfinder, I don't really see the purpliness all that much, but this is still very pretty, very wet looking. This is Asteria. And this is like a, well, in the viewfinder it looks a little bit more interesting than it does in real life to me. In real life, I just get pink to gold, whereas in the viewfinder I can definitely see something blue and green running through it. Still very wet looking, very pretty for sure. And finally from Devinah we have Thalassic. And this is like, again, like greenish, gold, brown, in real life with purple and blue as well. So I hope that also shows up on camera, but it seems to be more of like a brown, gold, green sort of situation that's going on in the viewfinder. But yeah, very pretty shades, but Devinah would not be my first choice when it comes to buying single multi-chromes. I still believe that where it's at for me is Clionadh. They definitely do the most interesting shifts and textures within their multi-chrome line. I feel the other shades are still very pretty, but that's why I have more of the Clionadh. And I, for instance, didn't go back to buying more of the Devinah or more of the Touch of Glam or more of the Terramoons, because I feel I'm sort of covered. When it comes to multi-chromes, you really don't need this many. Like literally if you have two, maybe like 5. Like if you want something like very, very light, like these pastel shades, I would definitely go to Touch of Glam for that if I were you and you don't have any of these. But if you just want a good multi-chrome like formula all across the board, then Clionadh is your best bet, I feel. And the reason why I'm saying that you really don't need that many multi-chromes is that I feel that in a finger swatch, these all look stunning. I struggle making that shift happen on my lid. And I feel that they need to be built up to full intensity for you to really be able to see the shift, and it really depends on like the curve of your eyelid, how much of the shift will actually show up. So it's definitely also a problem of anatomy rather than makeup skills, whether you can actually really see the shifts. Like I said, if you want multichromes, go for it. They can be very expensive, but the brand I would buy into is definitely Clionadh. They are a Canadian indie brand. They are a little bit expensive in terms of shipping, but I definitely find these worth it, and I would recommend them over anything else I'm showing you here today. Not all of these Clionadh shades actually list on the back what kind of multichrome they are, but they have a really handy overview that I got with my last order, so I'll be able to look it up for you, and I'll make sure to put the full name in the description box down below. But this is the shade Reflectance. And this looks like a boring minty yellow, like soft yellow shade in the pan. Here it looks a little blue. And then it has this like pinky purple sort of shift to it. This is Fluorescence. And here again, looks really boring in the pan. It looks like a silver to you now, but it's got the most beautiful purple lavender shift to it. I'm not sure my camera is picking up on that. Maybe if I turn my hand. Well, they have a bit of it, I guess. This is another one of those lighter shades. This is the shade Luxe. And here, a lot of shifting going on. It looks white in the pan, but it's got blue and green and yellow and a little bit of orangey peachiness in there. Like, it just has the most wonderful shift here. Glow is one of my favorites. And this, again, it looks a bit baby blue here, but it's got the most stunning blue to purple, silver kind of flash to it. It's like black light in an eyeshadow. Like, that's just what this looks like. And it's really pretty in the inner corner. And this was a shade that was on my wish list for quite some time. This is a shade Gloaming. And this has texture. It has that iridescent base. Like this is just, oh, it's so stunning. It's got a lot of green, a yellow, bit of peach. Like, this is so stunning. Like, this dabbed over any darker shadow will just transform it into the high heavens. This is Shard. And this is again one of those like brownish, reddish tone bases with like pink and orange, but then there's also blue and like almost like a silvery white to it. Again, a stunning shade. This all over the lid with just something very neutral in the crease is stunning. This is Royalty. And this is like an interesting, like dirty lavender base with a bit of a gold green flip. But then as you turn it, it's got this really vibrant blue sort of shift to it as well. Like these kind of multichromes this is my jam. This is another interesting one that was a bit unexpected for me. This is Bloodline. So it looks like a peach in the pan, and it definitely has a peachy, pinky sort of base, and then it has green and gold and purple and blue, and this is like if Lucid Lavender was amped up and had more base to it, and it was a bit more warm toned, you would get this. This is Regal. And this is like, if you take Royalty and you amp it up a notch, then you get this shade. It's got a purpley base, but then it has that sort of gold flip to it. And in real life, it also has blue and green. This is one that I think is going to be one of my least favorite ones from the line. This is Vermilion. I mean, this is quite warm toned. It does have green and pink, but then it also has a very strong gold flip, and in real life the goldish green flip pulls up more than I do the pinky gold. So for me, I don't think it goes with my skin tone all that well. So this was a bit of a mishap. It's still very pretty. I can still make it work. So, but this is not something that necessarily really works with my undertone. This is the shade Tower, which is a pastel multichrome. And as you can see here, the pastel multichromes from Clionadh have much more of a base than the pastel multichromes from Touch of Glam. So this has a pretty strong blue base, and it looks a bit baby blue, but then it has this really pretty purple sort of flip to it. Another one that you might not expect from me, but this very salmony pink shade is embossed. And yes, it's like a salmony pink base, but then with this really pretty bluish, greenish kind of flip. Like this, these are the kind of multichromes that were like, yeah, that was unexpected. I would not have expected this shade to do this from looking at it in a pen. Now, I think many people here on YouTube would agree with me. If you just get one stained glass shadow from Clionadh, make it this one. This is Grisaille, or Grisaille, I think, if you were to pronounce it in its original French. This is like the amped up version of Unexpected from JD Glow. This, it looks like a very boring shade in the pan. It looks brown, right? And then it shifts to purple and blue, and it's got a little bit of sparkle running through it, but it's not glittery at all. And it's just this all over the lid. You just don't need anything else. Like just a neutral in the crease, and then this, and you're done. Another really good one in this line is Abrasion. This is like Grisaille, but then more purple leaning. Because again, it has this like taupey brown base almost, and then this blue and purple and a bit of a silvery flip. Like this is just a really good cool tone multichrome. This is Carving. And this is a little bit more green, pink, blue. Again, that sort of wet, high shine kind of look. It's very, very stunning indeed. It's a bit more sheer though. This is perhaps one of my favorites from the later batch that I got. This is Opulent. It again has this more like sheer tone base. It's almost like a taupe. Do you see that? Like a taupey, mauvey kind of shade with like gold and a bit of green and a bit of blue, and it's just... And then we have Ripple. And Ripple is very, very pretty, but this I feel is not that super unique, so perhaps the Touch of Glam shadows I feel are a bit better for this very light, vibrant multichrome that doesn't do a lot. Like, it's got like a baby blue silvery kind of base, and then it has this pinky, purpley sort of shift. It's great, but it's not very strong of a shift. I get to the true multichromes. This is Forge, and this is stunning. It's a bit out of my comfort zone because it's very warm toned, but it's red and brown and gold and green. You can really see that shift well. I love how my camera is picking this one up. You can really see it shifting very well. And that's the case with a lot of these like darker based ones. They just show up a lot better. This is Smolder. And this, does it look like a cranberry shade to you? Well, what if I told you that it shifts green and gold, and look at that. Oh, look at that go. It's very stunning. This is Gothic. That's just not a purple. It's got a lot of red running through it. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it even has a bit of like green and like a peachy brassness to it. It's very pretty. This is Crown Glass. This is Oculus. And this is like purple with blue and a little bit of green as well. And this is Gargoyle. And this is like green and gold and blue, and it's very, very pretty. So let me put my palette back together and then we'll round off the video. And there you have it. That's my entire multi-chrome eyeshadow palette. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video to see all the swatches on my skin tone. I hope I was able to catch all the shifts, and like I already mentioned during the video, I really don't believe that you need to own this many multi-chromes. You can definitely just get a few and you'd really be good to go. There were just a couple of formulas here that I wanted to try. For me, it's still Clionadh where it's at, and just bear in mind that very often I find the swatches, no matter the brand that I've tried, many times look a lot better than I feel they go onto the eye. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. These look really, really stunning in finger swatches, but once you play with them with brushes and how they blend out, especially with some of these darker multi-chromes, I sometimes struggle with just having a really dark base and then the shift kind of disappears if you try to blend them. So these are definitely accent shades, things that you like pop onto the lid in an inner corner, maybe on a lower lash line, but it's not something you're going to do crease work with. So as long as you understand the limitations of multi-chromes, then I think you can definitely make them work and put them in your routine. I definitely think that next month I want to go to this palette and select a couple of shades that I said stood out to me in this palette and like do a mini multi-chrome moment and really get some more use out of these, because these are stunning shades and I definitely want to get more use out of it. Now that I've shown you everything, that I have the swatches also to refer back to for myself, I actually just kind of use my YouTube channel and my blog as like a catalog of what I have and my thoughts and all the swatches. That's also helpful for me sometimes to even realize what I have in my collection. So I really hope you enjoyed watching today's video. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you so very much for being here today. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make several videos, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to put these multi-chromes into some future videos as well. So if you'd like to stay tuned for more, have a great day, everybody. I hope to see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.